So number one, the first thing that you should check, and this is probably the most important thing, is the general condition of the engine and the engine bay. So as you can see right here, this is the engine. Now for the general condition, you just want to look at the engine and the engine bay. Just take a look around, look at all of the crevices, all of the different areas of the engine bay, all of the different components of the engine, and make sure nothing stands out for you. You know, we're not talking about looking for specific things here, like looking at every intricate component. I'm just talking about generally looking at the engine and engine bay and see if anything stands out to you as being out of place, or, you know, something that looks odd. And if it does look odd, or if it stands out, then you want to look into that a little bit further. The second thing that you should check under the hood of a car is the battery. And what you're looking for is the overall condition of the battery and also the age of the battery. And for the overall condition, you want to look at the terminals at the posts, and you want to see if there's any noticeable corrosion. So there's one post and the other post is under here. I'm not going to go ahead and pull this up and, you know, take everything apart, but what you want to do is just look for any corrosion. If you see any green or white buildup of like a crust on them, then you want to take the appropriate steps to clean that off, and also figure out why that's happening. Sometimes it can be a loose connection or something like that. And look at the age of the battery. You want to see how old the battery is and see if you're going to need to replace it anytime soon. The third thing that you should look for under the hood of a car is the oil level. Now, if you look on one side or sometimes the front of the engine, you're going to find what is known as a dipstick. It's usually going to be a different color, just like this, so that it can sort of stand out. And as you can see, that is the dipstick over here. Now what you would do, and you know, there are other videos on this, so I'm not going to demonstrate it right now, but you want to take out the dipstick, wipe it off, put it in again, and then take it out once it's been placed in there cleanly. So the key factor is to take it out once, wipe it off, and then dip it in there again. That's why it's called the dipstick. And that'll tell you the oil level, and it'll tell you if it is, you know, where it needs to be, or if it's too low or too high. Now, like I said, I've done another video on how to check the oil level of the car, so check that out, or look at the hundreds of tutorials that are available, and make sure that, you know, that's number 3, check the oil level. So number 4 is you want to look at, is anything leaking? So take a look around the engine bay, and you want to see if anything's leaking. Also, take a look underneath the car. You want to go deep down underneath the car, see if you see anything leaking. I mean, you know, it's normal for parts inside of the car to sweat. Like if you look towards the exhaust and you see some condensation coming out of the exhaust, that's normal. But generally speaking, things in your engine should not be leaking. Things in the engine bay should not be leaking. If you spot a leak, get it looked into ASAP. The fifth thing that you should check under the hood of the car is your windshield washer fluid level. Now, in most cars, you're actually not going to be able to check it in terms of, you know, there's not like a gauge or a line, but basically when it's low enough, the light will come on the dashboard. And then that means you have to refill it. Now you want to know where it is, so you want to check the level of it by knowing that there's enough, you know, if the light isn't on, there's enough in there. But you want to know where it is, and usually it's labeled like this, and usually has a nice colorful cap like that. And you want to know how to refill it. And if you need to refill it, go ahead and do it. What I like to do is every 2 weeks or so, when I fill up gas every second time, I usually fill it up about once a week. I usually just go and I take my container of windshield washer fluid and I just top it up, just to make sure that I'm never too low. The sixth thing that you should check under the hood of the car is that you should actually listen while the engine is running. And you want to listen for any loud sounds, anything that sounds abnormal. So you want to start the engine, and I'm not going to do that now because then I have to speak really loudly. But you want to start the engine and just take a quick moment and listen. You shouldn't hear any squeaking, any squealing, anything like that. You should just hear, you know, tick, 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 the engine running. You should hear the pistons moving in the engine running and so forth. The seventh thing that you should check under the hood of the car is you should check the engine bay fuse box. This is also known as the heavy duty fuse box. Now there is likely a fuse box inside of the car which contains all of the smaller fuses and you know, the things that are regarding the smaller electronic components, and the engine bay fuse box is like the heavy duty components and the relays and so forth. Now in this car, it's right over here. It's easy. You usually just, you know, squeeze some tabs and pop it open, and you just want to make sure that none of the fuses have popped out, nothing has happened, there's no corrosion going on or anything like that. You want to take a general look at the condition of the fuses and relays in the engine bay fuse box.